Nothing is more comfortable than sleeping on a pillow top mattress. Just the look of all those puffy diamonds says comfort. So today on Stamp TV, I'm going to show you how to create a pillow top background using paper and ink. It makes the perfect warm and comfortable backdrop for any card project. Let me show you the tools and products you're going to need to do this technique. First, you're going to need a piece of acetate. And the piece of acetate that I'm using is actually the piece of acetate that comes when you buy our clear stamps. When you purchase the Gina Designs clear stamps, all of the clear stamps are on a piece of acetate just like this. Well, what I do is I peel all the stamps off and I put them on the binder sheet that comes in the package, and then I use the acetate on top to protect the images so that when I put them inside of my binder box, the panels don't stick together. Well, I'm just going to use this little piece of acetate for this technique. Now, if you don't have clear stamps or you don't have a piece of acetate, you may have some packaging from something like the Spellbinders dies or a Score Pal or any other product, maybe not a crafting product, that came packaged in some clear acetate. You can just cut a piece out and then trim it nice and straight on your paper cutter, and you can use that for this technique. The other thing you're going to need is some cardstock, and I'm using some of the Gina Designs. This is the 80-pound layering weight ivory cardstock. You're going to need some ink, and I'm going to use the new Memento Toffee Crunch, and I'm using a jumbo sponge dauber. Now, I want to make sure that my cardstock stays in one place, so I'm going to put a little bit of dot adhesive on the back, and I'm just going to tape it down onto my work surface. That's going to allow me to do some sponging without worrying about the card shifting. Now I'm going to use this piece of acetate, and I'm going to lay it from the top left-hand corner to the bottom right-hand corner, and just to make a line. And I'm going to grab some of this Toffee Crunch ink and my sponge dauber, and I'm going to just lightly run the ink just over that line, like that. Then I'm going to move it down a little bit, and you can see I'm just eyeballing it. I'm not measuring anything. I'm just kind of looking at what looks fairly straight and even. And I'm going to do the same thing again. And again, I'm going to move it. And I'm going to keep doing this until I've made a bunch of lines going in the same diagonal direction across this whole card panel. And then for the last one here, just take your ink and just rub some ink on it like that. And then here's why I'm using the clear acetate as opposed to a piece of cardstock, because you need to be able to see through it so you can continue to measure your lines straight. Now you could start at the top corner and work your way down, but your diamonds won't be as even unless you start right from corner to corner like I did. Almost done this side. Okay, now I'm going to turn my whole work area a quarter turn, and I'm going to start going in the opposite direction. And again, using the Toffee Crunch and my sponge dauber, I'm going to create lines going the other way. And you don't have to reload the ink onto the sponge dauber each time unless you're not getting a dark enough look. And if some of the lines aren't spaced perfectly, that's just fine. It'll still look beautiful and puffy, just like a pillow top mattress. Okay, and now I'm going to work my way across the rest of this card. And it's such a quick and easy background technique to do. Let me pull this off of my messy work area here. Oh, and if you have any little areas that don't look completely covered, you can just go back over with your sponge dauber and add a little bit of color just so that they don't look too white or too ivory. Let me pull that off my work area and flip it over so you can get a better view. And the way that the diamonds are highlighted more toward the one side and the center really creates that look of depth, and you almost want to touch it because you think it's going to feel puffy. Let me show you a finished card project that I made using this background technique. And once your ink dries, it'll dry a little bit more subtle, as you can see in my card project here. What I did here was I used a little bit of the peanut brittle to create the leaves and the toffee crunch to create the trunk of the tree. And then I used some espresso truffle to stamp out the word hugs. And I added a little piece of our ribbon that coordinates with our honey mustard on each side just to create a little interest. And this is mounted on some more ivory cardstock and then on a card base made out of our honey mustard. To step this background technique up a notch, try using a sewing machine to add stitches along the lines to make your background look more like a quilt. Or try this same technique using pastel yellow, pink, or blue to create a soft backdrop for a baby card.